Hi guys, welcome to Movement Lesson on YouTube. I'm going to try and do more and more scheduled lives or lives available for you to interact with me, but also to learn about your child's development and your development, because we are actually developing all the time. One of the things I really want to talk about, and this gets discussed a lot in my group, so please, I have the largest library here on YouTube of working with the human body. I don't know, a lot of people go, Michelle, I don't even know where to start. First of all, where you need to start is to understand where you are in your child's development or your development, what you need. The evaluation needs to be done. And with Movement Lesson, we have the free, on our movementlesson.academy, the newborn movement assessment. Doesn't cost a thing. You can start doing that. But you can also post your video over on my Facebook group, Movement Lesson for Parents and Practitioners. And please, 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 even post anonymously and know where your child's at, because I do a review. Right? So you always have that. Now, it was discussed with me that you, for development, and this is something that I teach all the time. I teach it in a lot of my trainings, but I teach it to parents. All your developmental milestones are meant to happen before an infant's skull fuses. Now, this is a newborn skull, so it's more open than not. And I don't know if you can totally see it here, but to get out of the mother's vaginal canal, all the sutures are in a sense open. Not just the soft spots where you have the anterior and posterior fontanelles or the soft spots. Not here to teach anatomy, but I want you to understand where development comes from. So when your child is, let's say, learning how to sitting, right? The reason that comes into play is because the bones, the temporal bones, let's say, move and adjust, sort of just like ice cubes in water. When you move it around, the ice cubes will adjust. Well, your cranial bones do that, and you're meant to have walking before fusion happens. However, sometimes you can have a pre-fusion, or where you can have plates sliding into one another. So one of the conversations is that coronal sutures, which goes around, this is your forehead, and a lot of people don't realize your forehead has two bones in the metopic suture or your frontal suture. But your frontal bones, and again, they're meant to be like this, not only to get out of the mother, but again, to come to sitting, let's say, that these bones are meant to work almost like origami and move into place. But in this case, where I said that the child had a fusion, but it's being interpreted more so as a slide, almost like the plates in your earth. So the sutures around the forehead are sliding into the parietal bones. Okay, how does this affect development, let's say, or flat heads, which is known as plagiocephaly, various reasons. And again, I'm a movement coach. I'm here to coach your child or you into how to help your child with movement. I'm not here to teach anatomy per se, but again, if I did, you'd just be overwhelmed as parents. The number one objective for all parents is to be supported and successful. If I don't have you successful, then your child's not going to be successful. It's a team, right? So you can see this a little bit better. Yes, this is an adult skull, but you can see where the green bones are in a sense sliding into, let's say, or you have a pre-fusion, fusion that's meant to happen. Well, again, then trying to lift the head up, right, is a different function per se for your baby versus, in a sense, almost like a rocking. Your bones should be there when your child's going to move and come into space versus, again, I call this when I see kids with a heavy head, you're seeing them with a lift. Babies don't lift their heads, right? This comes from the pubic bone and their cranial movements, and it comes up like that. You should not see a head lift. Now, you and I can lift our heads. Babies can't lift their heads. When that's starting to show up, it is a concern for infant development, and you really don't want that for optimal development. That's not optimal. It is a form of movement, but it's not functional movement, and it's not going to create a milestone. And the same thing too, if you see a child rolling over and their head kind of falls down, or their head leads it, and again, you see is a fall. That fall will turn into a prevention of a fall, because nobody wants to fall. That's not the way the human body moves and organizes. So if you have concerns for your child not having a correct head shape, but also if they don't have a correct head shape, I can already tell you now there's delays in development because they were in a position which is flattening the head. You can have cases of prematurity, microcephaly, macrocephaly, which can cause all these things. These cranial inabilities for movement, cranial movements, the inabilities are going to create stresses on development. Again, evaluating your child and knowing your child. I'm not here to tell you something's wrong. I'm here to offer solutions. So this is where you would really work on my water bowl technique and really try and deliver as much natural movement or functional movement that would happen despite the cranial creases and the slides and the plates, to offer that full functional movement versus a child trying to overcompensate, because that's not a word that infants and babies leave. You have to understand, no baby sits there and goes, I should have been rolling over 3 weeks ago. I'm going to work on that tomorrow. That's adult-based processing. We want infant-based processing, and they process just responding to movement. Their cranial bones, right, because they're so independent before they fuse, are the ultimate response to movements. Just because you can't see them moving like fingers and toes, we really want this for your baby's development. I hope that was helpful. And again, if you have any questions or you need something, please, I have the Worried Parent course that, again, if you're worried, remember, development should be a requirement. If you're sitting here listening to my videos, you're now going into worry or concerns. That shouldn't be in your vocabulary, and you need help and your baby needs help. Why not start today and start with that? But please, the best thing is it's free. Go on and join my group, Movement Lesson for Parents and Practitioners. Get some of my free downloads. Help your baby today, because development should be optimal despite birth trauma, despite genetics, despite delays. We want optimal development. And that's what I'm here for. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.